Tracey and Violet from Tea Time with Tracey and Violet. And I just wanted to do a quick little video with you. I just did another one, which will probably be up before this one, but I still have tea left in my teapot. And I thought I'll talk about another couple of books that I read. Watch out, Boob. Watch out, Ween. Okay. I showed you in the other video too, but there's her superpower there, the gold at the top, 3 bands in the middle, and a gold slipper because she's classy like that. Gold on the front and back of her arm, and a feathery little top there. And that's her skirt or pedestal. Yes. So, anyways, well, this is Paragon H&M the Queen and H&M Queen Mary, fine bone China, England, registered 56484/1X. So, if that means anything, I don't know. But I'm having some cozy cinnamon tea, and I'm gonna make videos until I'm done my teapot because I've been reading some books. Not as many as I'd like, but I have been reading some books and I haven't got a chance to sit down and talk to you about it. I've been painting with my dad and sanding and taping and filling gyprock, filling holes in walls, you know what I mean? My house is like super old, so it's not actually gyprock, it's plaster, so. But I had been reading a lot of scary books, and I'm still reading some. Well, I'll just put it right here. I'm sitting on the floor right now, but where are they? I had to switch it up a bit just because I was getting a little burnt out with what I was reading. Still liked it, but I wanted to switch it up a bit, and I still have lots of other ones. I picked up Dark Romance Duet. Yes, Pike is book 1. Pawn is book 2. Yeah, I ate these up like candy. This is by T.M. Frazier. I read the King series this past fall or the end of summer and devoured them all. I still don't think I did videos about Preppy, but there's King, book 1 and 2. I forget exactly what they're called. The next 2 books are about Bear. He has 2 books. And then Preppy has 3 books. And then I read another book that's a spin-off from that called Up in Smoke. Haven't done a video about that, which I should do. But then I have a couple more of her books, but I got into the horror kick. And these were a couple more. I still have a couple more to read, but yeah. So this is a spin-off from the King series. You don't need to read the King series to read these, though. That's the good thing, but I do recommend the King series, absolutely. And I do have videos about King's books and Bear's books, I believe. So anyways, this story, I won't say too much about the second book. Like, I'll just give you the gist about what the story is. This book, well, let me explain. Well, let me read the back of it first. Born into chaos, I was raised by the violent law of the streets, spilling blood without the hindrance of useful emotions or connections. Unfeeling, unloved, alone, my life was perfect until her. While on a manhunt for a mysterious enemy, one hell-bent on taking both my business and my life, I find Mickey. She's covered in mud, rambling nonsense, and clearly out of her mind. She's also a distraction I don't need. That is until I discover a connection between the girl and my enemy. Mickey isn't a distraction anymore. She's the perfect weapon, one I'll use to exact my revenge. The plan is an easy one, but there's something about Mickey that's making it more and more difficult. A familiarity I can't place and need I can't explain. I have to deny. After all, she's not mine to keep. She's a tool, my pawn, my sacrifice. So, yes. Yeah. So this book starts off a few years back. Mickey, her real name's Michaela, she's one of 4 sisters. And her family, with her mom and dad, are vacationing the end of summer at Logan's Beach, which Logan's Beach you'll see in the other books I mentioned earlier. It's like a beach house, and they're living pretty good. They have a beach house to go to in the summer, so there's that. But when Mickey jumps on the scene, she is, like he said, wandering alongside of the road, covered in mud, looking like a drowned rat, and he pulls up in this big bad truck and rolls down his window to say, "Do you need help?" And she's like, "No, I'm with my family." She's talking to her family behind her, but he doesn't see any family behind her. But in her mind, she's talking to her family that are going on this summer walk with her. So she ends up, long story short, gets in the truck with them, and she said where she must have got a little lost, and says to go back to this beach house, and he's nice enough to take her there. They get back there and there's nobody there at all. Delicious. Anyways, this is when, like, Mickey's probably like 18 when this is all happening. They get back to this beach house and she's kind of just rambling nonsense, and Pike is trying to say, "Well, there's nobody here. Do you have a key to get in?" Like, he's being quite nice, like he's not trying to take advantage of her. And she said, no, I'll just wait," or something like that. But lo and behold, some cars come along with some scary looking men, so they go hide behind the house, and these men have big bad guns, and they're just yelling, "We just want the girl, we just want the girl." And in her mind, she thinks, okay, well, I'm just going to go with these men because I don't want anybody to get hurt, and she goes. And he never finds out what happens to her. So fast forward a few years, you learn more about Mickey. Her and all of her sisters have special abilities, in the sense, not special abilities, well, they're just unique. Mickey, for her, she has a photographic memory. She can remember everything she sees, everything she reads, everything. Like, extraordinary. Her other sisters, I think, are like super smart in science and super smart or musical talent or something. I forget now. You don't really get to know those guys. But for her, it's a photographic memory. So fast forward a few years. Pike, he owns a pawn shop that sells all sorts of things. And that's kind of a front for running drugs and things like that. Like I said, these are dark romances, so there's dark topics in here. So his pride and joy is his pawn shop, and he does sell stuff in his pawn shop, but it's a front to launder money or drugs and all that sort of thing. During a shipment, his big make it or break it shipment to go up to the next level, it gets robbed in transit, and he's hell-bent on finding out who stole this, because now I know I owe these other people a whole bunch of money, and I don't got the drugs to sell to make up the money to pay these guys. So he's not panicking in the sense like he's effing peeved off. Rightfully so, but I mean, yeah, it feels weird. Like, I'm not trying to take the side of hardcore drug dealers, but you understand. You learn he grew up from nothing. He was abandoned, and you learn, like, his sad story. So he's really brought himself up to this point as best as he could. So his big shipment gets stolen, and him and his best friend, his name is Nine. He has his own book. I haven't read it yet. Nine. And Nine is the brother to Preppy, who Preppy has books. So I know you don't have to read these all in order. I'm just saying they're all kind of in the same family. But just so you know, his friend Nine is like a hacker. He's like he's one of those computer hackers sort of thing. So they kind of trace the state's cameras and follow back to where these vans stole their drugs and all that sort of thing. And fast forward a little bit, people come to Pike's pawn shop. I don't want to give you all the details, but I just want to show you where their paths cross again. People come to Pike's pawn shop to steal some expensive painting or something like that. And so trouble's brought right to his doorstep. From that scuffle, they end up catching one of the guys that were trying to rob his pawn shop. Like they had masks on, skeleton masks or something. Everybody else leaves and they got one of the bad guys. Turns out the bad guy is Mickey. Yeah. So they knocked her out. They didn't realize it was her or a woman for that matter. And then they figure out, and Pike is wondering, I recognize this girl. Like he can't think of where she looks familiar from at first. Eventually he figures it out. And of course she remembers him because of her special memory. And she's not divulging any information about why she was there to rob his pawn shop. But anyways, there's chemistry between these two and it jumps off the page. It does. That's what I like about T.M. Frazier's books. You get really engulfed into the stories. I find like T.M. Frazier is definitely in my top like 3 new people I read this year that are my favorites, if not my favorite, honestly. Tilly Cole too. Really like Tilly Cole. But anyways, Mickey, she's just a little waif of a girl. Like she's just a little thing. And she's just young, like I would say in her early 20s or something like that. But she was a professor at a university because of how smart she was. She wasn't at the time because she retired from that to pursue this other criminal avenue. But it's not why you think. She doesn't know where her family is, and she knows that these people had something to do with it. So she was trying to infiltrate into the bad people who she thought. There's more to it. I don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil it. If she can infiltrate long term and bring the whole system crashing down. But of course Pike doesn't know this because he has nothing to do with that. She was just following these bad guys because she was trying to whittle her way into, get in the good graces of these bad guys, which she has been for years. So yeah, I do have to say though, the bad guys in this are KKK people, like the Ninth Right people, the group. So, trigger warning for racist ridiculousness, idiots, friggin' a-holes. But she doesn't want to let Pike know who she was with, why she was there, because ultimately she has her own plan. Not with Pike, not with those bad guys. She has her own personal plan, and she doesn't want to jeopardize that because she wants to find out or seek revenge for her family. I'm not telling you a lot of things, but I'm just saying. So Pike ends up holding her hostage for quite a while, and he tortures her, not in like a physical way, but in sensory deprivation, like playing loud music for an extended amount of time, not feeding her for a couple of days, um, things of that nature. Not nice ways, but I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but the chemistry between these two, that doesn't go on forever. It doesn't go on forever, just for a little blip. And he believes that she can lead him back to where his money or his drugs are. And the story goes from there. I don't want to say too much more. I would absolutely recommend this Duet. Absolutely recommend the King series, but absolutely recommend this Duet. I found it very fast-paced. I read these two in like 2 or 3 days together, combined. You know what I mean? They're not super long. They're really not. And it kept me engaged right from start to finish. You get to really know these characters, and yeah, just heads up, there's drugs in this, there's racism in this, there's captor captive in this, there's animal abuse in this, but then there's animal love in this too, which is wonderful. Yeah, but you learn about her history, which I didn't tell you a fraction of it. You learn about his history. He is a drug dealer. He is a criminal, but he does right by a lot of ways. Like, he helps homeless children, or, you know, somebody down on their luck. Like, he does a lot of good things too. Doesn't excuse some of the bad things, but he looks pretty good. But anyways, I just wanted to talk about it. I read this a couple of days ago, and I need to talk about it before I move on to more books, because then everything gets all muddled together. But this is a series. Any of her books that I've read, I could absolutely reread. Highly recommend. And I can't wait to get to the other books, because I like how some of the characters cross over. So it's good to read them in order, but you don't have to. The King series you should read in order. You should. It's not necessary. You still get a good read out of it. That's not, I'm just looking at my sleeve. That's sawdust or paint dust. I was sanding earlier. But anyways, some of the characters from the King series cross over into these. It doesn't give anything away from their books, but it gives you an idea. They're one big network of characters, and I don't remember Pike ever showing up in any of those books, but Preppy is in this, 9 is in this, and King is in this. Not like as major characters, but they're in this. And since I read all of the King series, I'm just like, oh, I know their history. I know where they live. I know what their bedroom looks like. I know what they do in bed. You know what I mean? So anyways, Pike Pawn. I will have the links down below if you are interested in getting it, looking for a dark romance. That's dark. Yeah, I don't know what to say, if it's super dark or not. Like, I guess it's all a personal preference. But anyways, dark romance, but highly recommend, because there's plot, and there's character development, and there's action, and there's sexy time. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, that's all I'll say about that. So yeah, links down below if you're interested. So with that, I'm going to say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose. But if not, that's okay too. I still love you. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. So, all right, guys, with that, I'm going to say have a good night or have a good morning. And I might see you tomorrow. Bye. Bloop.